Currently, my portfolio balance is £6,306.76, and my losses are currently at £77.08. Let's begin by looking at Invesco's Nasdaq 100. So we can see that this ETF, if you didn't know, is designed to track the Nasdaq 100 index, which comprises of the largest non-financial firms, mostly in the tech sector, listed on the Nasdaq stock exchange. This is also a accumulating fund, which means that any dividends which is issued to me will be used to purchase more stock within the same fund. This is actually a great idea, as over time, I'm hoping that these returns will compound and have a massive impact on my portfolio when I decide to redeem it. As can be seen on my screen, I decided to buy £99.91 worth of Nasdaq on the 4th of April, and then I entered the market again on the 11th of April, and I decided to buy approximately £300.09 worth of Nasdaq more. Now we can see that the current share price of the Nasdaq is £380.70. On the 4th of April, the price was £343.09. And then on the 11th of April, when I bought it, the price was £350.46. Now the market sits at £380.70, like I said. And I think a lot of this is to do with the recent earnings reportings of major firms that have heavy weightings within the Nasdaq. However, I don't think we'll see actual growth and stability until the US and China reach a resolution. However, this negotiation, or the starting of the negotiations, is a good point to begin. Hopefully they can reach something, and then markets can settle and then continue to grow. The inclusion of tariffs is quite important, and it's quite an interesting topic. This is something I learned about in economics, as I did that with my degree and throughout my A-levels. And I think the measures or the reasons for people introducing tariffs, or countries introduce tariffs, is to protect their own industries. This is called as protectionism, and many countries will do this to prevent domestic firms from running out of business, and also to keep them competitive and also keep them operating globally. However, with the inclusion of tariffs, this cost is passed on to the consumer, thus raising prices, and therefore a country's domestic goods may seem more competitive or more attractive compared to a country which is importing them, and thus having to include this tariff onto the consumers. I think my plan with the Nasdaq again is to keep drip feeding this market, as this is my long-term fund. It'll be interesting to see if this grows, if there's more sell-offs. But again, I'm a long-term investor, and thus I'm going to just be avoiding this volatility and just seeing this all as noise. Again, if you didn't know much about the Nasdaq, it essentially is a tech fund within the US. It consists of Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Broadcom, many other firms such as Meta, Tesla, Netflix, just many American firms that are top performing. As can be seen, the sectors which you have mainly risk is technology, industrialism, and some consumer stuff with some healthcare and also some financial. There's more as well, but it's primarily based on technology.